This is the best of On Your Side for 2024, a year when we exposed job scams that took their victims for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So you're thinking, wow, this is easy money.
Yes. I said it wasn't me, so none of this was me.
We went to bat for ID theft victims facing $500,000 in medical debt that wasn't theirs.
I don't see any integrity. You took the people's money and you didn't finish the work.
We confronted contractors who took money to make home improvements but left their victims high and dry.
It's unacceptable. It's so unacceptable. Like, it gets me viscerally angry.
On Your Side fought for Arizonans caught up in scams, battling to get their money back.
And we uncovered a design flaw in a popular car that could put children at risk.
And I said, I don't care if you have to cut my car in half. Just get her out.
So join us for the next 60 minutes as we bring you the very best from the On Your Side team from the past year.
Anytime I see you guys, you're my friends now.
Welcome to the best of On Your Side for 2024. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. Our team has spent the last year uncovering scams, exposing dishonest contractors, and working to save you money. For the next hour, we'll show you some of our best reports from the past 12 months.
And we will start with a job scam. A Phoenix woman thought she had found a work-from-home gig, but instead, she was ripped off for more than $100,000 in just a matter of days. Letterboxd is a reputable and legitimate company based out of New Zealand. Members of Letterboxd can, among other things, rate and review films. So when Rachel got a text message from someone claiming to be a recruiter from Letterboxd, it got her attention.
And the text message said, basically, are you looking for a job? We can give you this, this, and this per month.
The so-called recruiter said she had found Rachel's resume on the popular employment website called Indeed and claimed that Rachel could make up to $9,000 a month by simply watching movie trailers sent from Letterboxd.
Who said anything about safe?
Rachel says the only requirement to get started was to deposit $100 using cryptocurrency. Then, after watching just a few movie trailers, she would get her $100 returned, plus a nice commission.
For a while, it was fine. I would do the 30 movie clips, and at the end, I would get my deposit back and extra money.
Rachel says her new job seemed legit because she actually deposited her commission into her personal bank account.
At the end, I took that money and put it into my bank account. Like, I converted it back to cash and put it in my bank account.
But Rachel was then told the more money she deposited, the higher commission she would receive.
So I was like, this is great. You know, I'm going to make a lot of money here. So I put in $3,000.
$3,000?
Yeah.
But after making that deposit, she was told there was a glitch of some kind, which brought her balance into the negative. So Rachel was told to deposit more money so she could get out of the negative and the company could send her a set of 40 more movie clips. Rachel complied by sending just over $4,400. And like she was told, she got her commission after watching those movie trailers.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I made like $1,000 within a couple of minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're thinking, wow, this is easy money.
Yes.
At this point, Rachel was unable to cash out, but she kept making those deposits so she could keep watching those movie trailers and increasing her commissions. In all, Rachel deposited close to $110,000. 8 transactions over the course of just 1 week. Her last deposit, just over $62,000. But when she was asked for even more money, she realized the so-called company she was dealing with wasn't Letterboxd at all, but scammers.
You were pretty comfortable with sending more money to this company, right?
Because I believe them. I believe that I just need to finish the set of 40 and I'd get all my money back, all my deposits back, plus all the commissions. And it would be like a huge payday for me.
Rachel says this scam is very convincing, and she has this message for other job seekers.
I want to let people know, really, that this is out there and, you know, to be aware of it. Especially, there's so many people looking for a job, and they're very vulnerable, as I was. I was very vulnerable.
3 warning signs of a job scam. If you're dealing in cryptocurrency, if you're asked to forward money to anyone, and if you communicate only by text and not by phone calls,
you're probably getting involved in a scam.
Now a disturbing case of identity theft. A Valley woman was held responsible for almost $500,000 in medical bills that weren't hers. And the victim works for the hospital chain that was charging her for the procedures.
This is the real Jennifer O'Connor. There's a fake Jennifer out there too, and she's using the real Jennifer's identity to get medical care.
The bills are outrageous. I get a new bill every day and I just want to cry.
What's the total of these bills?
For just the surgery was $217,000.
Another $32,000 here, $9,300 there.
I'm getting bills from CT scans, bills from anesthesiologists, different doctors that she saw at the hospital. It's just overwhelming.
Jennifer says she's aware of 2 ambulance rides and 4 hospital visits at Banner and Honor Health facilities. The first sign of a problem was a bill from an anesthesiologist.
$2,400 for anesthesia, and I'm like, anesthesia? When did I go under anesthesia? And so I looked more into it, and all I had to do to get into it was put in my date of birth, and bam, here's the bill.
The real Jennifer is a respiratory therapist at a Banner facility. Her supervisor submitted this letter to their own employer to prove the real Jennifer was on the clock when the fake Jennifer was getting medical care.
I just know that I was working my butt off, and I wasn't getting screws in my legs and on fentanyl, that's for sure.
Still, the paper trail and the police reports Jennifer filed weren't enough to unravel the mess.
I get 2 emails from Banner saying they're going to garnish my wages for the visit at Banner Boswell ER for $150 and a $36 bill from Banner Desert.
She says bills from Honor Health are still coming too.
They just sent it to collections.
If it sounds like a nightmare, it is. But Jennifer's not alone.
It is getting easier and easier to obtain the data of a legitimate person and then create the fake identity.
Eva Velasquez is the president and CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center.
When it comes to medical identity theft, it does get really tricky because we don't have a central repository for all of our medical records. So I encourage people to focus their energy on just protecting their identity on the whole.
That means make sure you have unique passwords across all of your accounts. Enable multi-factor authentication to protect accounts from breaches, and protect physical documents that have personal information on them. That includes securing your mailbox. And if you are a victim of medical identity theft, keep meticulous records.
The unfortunate reality is that you must resolve this directly with the entity where the fraud occurred.
We know medical identity theft can be costly, but it also comes with serious health concerns.
You potentially now have mixed medical records with the thief, and you could get improper care, improper diagnosis. You could also not have the ability to get necessary prescriptions filled or to get access to necessary medical equipment because the thief has already gotten those things in your name.
That's what Jennifer fears the most.
All her medical stuff is on file, not mine. If I was in a car accident on the way home, God forbid, and I was out of it and needed blood products, I could die because she probably doesn't have the same blood type as me. And that terrifies me.
After our story aired, Phoenix police made an arrest in the case. The suspect was booked for identity theft, fraud, and theft.
On Your Side has uncovered a scary flaw with some Tesla models. When the battery dies, people can be trapped inside the car. Scottsdale firefighters actually had to rescue a toddler from her grandmother's car using an axe.
I was going to take my granddaughter to the zoo.
Renee Sanchez says she's a big fan of Tesla, but what happened to her recently has changed her mind. That's because Renee tells On Your Side she loaded her 20-month-old granddaughter into her car seat for a trip to the zoo.
And I closed the door, went around the car, get in the front seat, and my car was dead. I could not get in. My phone key wouldn't open it. My card key wouldn't open it.
As On Your Side explained in a recent On Your Side report, when the Tesla battery that operates electronics dies, there's a hidden latch on the driver's side armrest that will unlock the door manually. It's a latch many Tesla owners don't know about. But in this case, Renee was stuck outside of her Tesla while the toddler was trapped inside, buckled into a car seat. Renee tells On Your Side she had no option but to call 911, which immediately dispatched Scottsdale firefighters.
And when they got here, the first thing they said to me is, to Tesla, we can't get in these cars. And I said, I don't care if you have to cut my car in half. Just get her out.
Firefighters were forced to break a window with an axe, but they first covered the window with tape to keep glass from falling inside. Meanwhile, Renee's granddaughter sat alone inside the Tesla that was getting hotter and hotter.
So she was okay for the first few minutes, but as soon as the firemen came and all the commotion started and the windows getting broken into, she started crying because she was scared.
A firefighter was able to climb through the window and pull the toddler to safety. They even gave her a little fire hat to calm her.
After I knew she was safe, then the anger, and then all the thoughts of, oh my God, this could have been so much worse.
The 12-volt battery that powers the electronics had died with no warning. Tesla drivers are supposed to get 3 warnings before that happens, but the Tesla service department confirmed to Renee that she didn't get any warnings at all.
That's the thing. When that battery goes, you're dead in the water.
On Your Side has learned there is a way for drivers to unlock their cars when they're stuck outside, but it's a complicated series of time-consuming steps involving wires and battery chargers. But again, many Tesla owners and first responders don't even know about it.
They need to educate the first responders because they had no idea. None. They were as much in the dark as I was.
Renee wants to see Tesla add a better option to get into a car with a dead battery. And while she's been a big supporter of Tesla, this latest episode has shaken her trust.
So I give Tesla props. When it works, it's great. But when it doesn't, it can be deadly.
Still ahead on the best of On Your Side.
He's got integrity tattooed across his chest. He should probably get that removed.
We take on a pool contractor who took clients' money but never delivered.
I walked out in the morning and my car was gone.
A simple fix was supposed to stop a wave of car thefts, but we found it didn't always work.
He says, somebody's trying to take $14,500 out of your account.
And later, a warning about scammers who convince you they're protecting your money on the best of On Your Side for 2024.
Welcome back to the best of On Your Side for 2024. This year, a number of viewers reached out to us asking On Your Side to look into a pool builder.
They told us the pool company and its owner promised their projects would be done with integrity. But those viewers say that's not what happened at all.
This was supposed to be paradise out here.
Yeah, this was supposed to be.
When Brandon Meter and his family step into their backyard, they're greeted with this giant concrete hole. And it's been like this for 3 long years.
I refer to it as a bunker that looks like a pool.
Brandon hired a company called Unity Pools, owned by this guy, Travis Scott. Brandon says at the time, Travis Scott bragged about being a competent pool builder. And he also gloated about something else.
Did he sell himself as a big NFL star?
I mean, he definitely spoke about it. I remember when he knocked on the door, I was looking up at him like, wow, this is just a big guy.
According to this contract, Travis Scott agreed to build Brandon's pool, a fire pit, and other amenities for around $138,000. But before he started the project, Travis Scott demanded and received $40,000 up front. Some progress on the pool was being made, and over the course of a few months, Brandon wound up giving Travis Scott a series of checks totaling around $125,000. At this point, the project was 90% paid in full, but Brandon says only 50% of the work had been completed before Travis Scott stopped showing up.
He boasted he's a person of integrity. He's got integrity tattooed across his chest. He should probably get that removed.
And Brandon is not the only victim.
I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Blake Carbonado says he's another victim of Travis Scott and Unity Pools. He wrote checks totaling around $223,000, but he says after 50% of his project was finished, Travis Scott stopped coming around.
We've met almost 24 other families that have had a similar experience to us.
He's right. In fact, the Arizona Register of Contractors revoked Unity Pool's license after racking up 15 consumer complaints. In addition, Travis Scott has 4 pending lawsuits filed against him for his pool-related antics. I went to Travis Scott's Gilbert home for answers, but he reportedly wasn't home.
It's pretty important because there's a lot of people who say that he took money for pools and never finished.
Oh, are you recording?
Yeah, we'll be doing a news report.
Okay.
So it's pretty important that he calls me.
Well, 5 minutes later, guess who called? Travis Scott.
You're the man with integrity. You got it tattooed on your chest, and yet I don't see any integrity. You took the people's money, and you didn't finish the work.
Travis Scott didn't have much to say and hung up on me, but On Your Side has discovered he's now opened a new pool company called Swell Builders, which is not licensed. But according to his website, potential customers have to select how much money they're willing to pay for their project.
The reality is, I had no clue, the guy's got all my money. I'm at his mercy, and that's where he gets people. He takes your money quick, makes it seem like things are progressing, and then bounces. And before you know it, you're stuck.
You've probably heard about that trend on TikTok showing how to steal a Kia. Well, the company made repairs to fix the problem, but when viewer told On Your Side, that fix didn't seem to do a thing.
The car whips around and 2 people walk into the driveway. From a different camera, you can see a person wearing a hoodie open the door of this SUV and climb in.
I walked out in the morning and my car was gone.
What's going through your mind when you see no car in the driveway?
Shock.
Sarah Jansen says a group of people stole her Kia Sportage right out of her driveway as part of a viral social media challenge.
This is all happening because of a thing called the Kia Boys on TikTok. They've learned how to take off the shaft, your steering wheel shaft, and use a charger to just open it up. It takes them about 3 to 5 minutes, and they're gone.
No doubt in your mind, it was targeted because it's a Kia.
Oh, for sure.
Millions of Kias and Hyundais were manufactured without immobilizers, making them easier to steal. Last year, the automakers came up with a free fix, a software upgrade that won't allow the vehicle to start without the key. Here's the thing. Kara had already taken her vehicle into the dealership for that update.
I brought my car in so that it couldn't get stolen, and it just got stolen. So what should I do?
Turns out there are a lot of drivers with the same question.
It doesn't appear to be a perfect software fix. There are a number of consumers who've complained about having their vehicle stolen afterwards.
Michael Brooks is the executive director of the Center for Auto Safety. He says it's unclear why the fix isn't working in some cases.
Thieves are finding other ways to steal these cars. It could also be that sometimes consumers have aftermarket software on their own security system that might be interfering with the Hyundai and Kia software. But that's something that Kia and Hyundai really need to take a look at.
Brooks says it's also critical to get more people to actually get the free update. But he says it's a challenge without a formal recall.
A recall, a more firm warning to consumers, and some more follow-up with consumers could raise the repair rates to a point where we might see thefts decline.
There are signs of progress. According to the Arizona Department of Insurance and Financial Institutions, in the first 4 months of this year compared to the last 4 months of 2023, there's been a 50% decrease in the number of thefts involving Kias and Hyundais, from 1,794 vehicles down to 903.
Unfortunately, a lot of the damage has already been done when it comes to the insurance side.
The agency's James McGuffin says some insurers are refusing to cover certain Kias and Hyundais, while others are making premiums much pricier.
It's not like consumers have done anything wrong. It's just insurers have paid out so many claims in relation to these vehicles that their appetite to insure them is definitely decreased.
That puts the owners of these vehicles in a bind. It happened to Kara before her vehicle was stolen.
I couldn't get insured by like 3 different better known insurance companies. I ended up having to get one I've never heard of before for double the cost of what I was paying before.
That's why drivers have to shop around. In the state, there are 106 insurers that write auto policies.
What every consumer should do is make sure you're getting full credit for every discount that could be possibly out there.
Police discovered Kara's Kia 4 days after it was taken from her driveway.
8 minutes away from my house.
It was wrecked and damaged on the inside.
All of that for 8 minutes of driving around.
Exactly.
Next, on the best of On Your Side.
He kept saying, don't call anybody, don't talk to anybody.
A warning about a gift card scam here in Arizona that nearly took one viewer for thousands of dollars.
I was praying so hard that you would call me or send me an email, and you did.
And later, scammers stole thousands of dollars while her husband was rushed to the hospital. That's when On Your Side got involved. You'll see the results on the best of On Your Side for 2024.
This is the best of On Your Side for 2024. You know, we expose a lot of scams in our news reports, and plenty of them involve gift cards.
This one had a twist. The scammers couldn't get their hands on the money, but our viewer couldn't get her cash back until On Your Side got involved.
They don't deserve it.
The scammers were good. They always are.
This email came up and said, do you want to cancel your subscription to Norton antivirus? And I said, yes, my husband must have signed up for it again. So I started filling out the forms and blah, blah, blah. And it went downhill from there.
Kathy Diedrich unknowingly allowed scammers into her computer. And someone on the phone promised he'd help protect the money in her compromised accounts.
He wanted me to go and get cash out of the bank. And then I was to go to the grocery store and buy gift cards.
$2,000 for Nordstrom, $1,000 for Sephora.
He kept saying, don't call anybody, don't talk to anybody. I said, okay, my money is at risk and I got to do it. And I felt like a criminal.
But she got on another phone and called one of her daughters, who immediately knew this was a scam.
I got a text from my sister, hey, mom's being scammed right now.
Kathy's daughter Danielle helped put a stop to everything. The first call was to Nordstrom because her mom had already sent photos of the numbers on the cards to the scammer.
Thankfully, amazingly, somehow they only emptied one. So they were able to cancel the other three because she had bought 4 $500 gift cards. They canceled those immediately, and immediately in my email I had a new gift card for $1,500.
The next call was to Sephora. Those numbers hadn't been compromised yet, but the company locked the cards just in case. Days passed. Danielle called back.
They basically said, oh, there's nothing we can do. That was from a third-party vendor. Those are locked. We can't do anything about it. And I said, wait a second, you locked them down. Like, I need them at least unlocked.
She tried to get help from the third-party vendor Blackhawk.
Blackhawk says, oh no, there's nothing we can do. We're a business-to-business entity, and you have to go back to the grocery store. At which point I lost my mind a little bit, because at the end of the day, you know, my mom gives money to Fry's gives money to Blackhawk gives money to Sephora.
And now that money is just somewhere.
You've basically told me that you are keeping my mom's money hostage, and it's unacceptable. It's so unacceptable. Like, it gets me viscerally angry, because this shouldn't be. This should be like really simple. Nordstrom, simple. I called in, they locked it down, they issued a new gift card. Simple, right? At that point is when I reached out to you guys, because I didn't know what else to do, honestly. I mean, they are just holding this money.
Not anymore. When we got involved, the companies worked together to fix the problem, and Danielle and Kathy got this check from Kroger, a $1,000 refund for the money the scammers never got their hands on.
To my parents, $1,000 is everything. It's a huge amount for them.
Next on the best of On Your Side.
Ma'am, this is David. Really want to talk to you, ma'am.
A scammer uses Bitcoin to take a senior for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
He told me not to say nothing to nobody. He said my phone, my computer, everything was hacked.
And later, On Your Side steps in when a viewer hits a stalemate with his home warranty company.
So I really had to call in the big guns, and Gary made it happen.
And we uncover a potentially life-threatening issue with medical supplies.
This is a health crisis. I mean, my husband needs oxygen, and they're not delivering.
When the best of On Your Side returns.
Welcome back to the best of On Your Side for 2024. This next scam started like a lot of them do, with the fraudster pretending to be a security agent online and claiming he wanted to help protect the victim.
In the end, he took her for more than $200,000, wiping out much of her savings.
Friday, 7:15. You're working on it. Don't mess up the things.
The phone calls were incessant.
Ma'am, this is David. Really want to talk to you, ma'am.
And sometimes threatening.
So don't do anything wrong.
This is the middle of a scam that started with a pop-up message on a laptop that appeared to be a security alert.
Said to call this number.
Sue, who asked us to just use her middle name, called.
He says, somebody's trying to take $14,500 out of your account. He says, but we got to secure the rest of your money. So he had me go down, withdraw the money, $14,500, and go put it in a Bitcoin machine. So that's what I did.
Had you ever heard of a Bitcoin machine before?
No, I knew nothing about Bitcoin machines.
Every day for 13 days, Sue deposited more money into Bitcoin ATMs at convenience stores.
Why did you do this over so many days?
Because I believed him. I believed him. I really thought, okay, somebody's trying to, take this money out. I got to secure all this money. All the money went into my wallet, but I never got the money. He took it.
It wasn't really your wallet.
It was up. I don't know where it went.
The bankers tried to stop you?
Yes. But I believed him because he said that they were going to try to do that. He told me not to say nothing to nobody. He said my phone, my computer, everything was hacked to where I didn't talk to anybody about, I didn't tell anybody about it, not even my son.
How much money did you lose?
$204,000.
What does the loss of $204,000 mean?
It's devastating. I went to a very dark place. I thought, okay, I've got lots of sleeping pills here. I did, and I called the crisis hotline for that. I went that way. I went that far in the dark. But my friend, she pulled me through, and my son.
Sue kept her secret for months, just like so many people who've been tricked by elaborate scams.
With these crypto scams, they're not looking for a few $1,000s. They're looking for a few $100,000. They will tell you to go down to a local Bitcoin ATM. They'll give you the QR code, the quick response code. So all you have to do is walk in there, scan the little code, and start putting cash into the ATM. And it's actually really simple. And you think you have control over your money, but you don't.
Brian Watson is a retired special agent for IRS criminal investigation and now works with a nonprofit called ROSE, which stands for Resources and Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly.
Time is your friend. You've got to stop. You may have to hang up on these people. You may have to delete an email. You may have to turn your computer off. But don't react quickly. Go get a second opinion.
Have you told your son now?
Oh, yeah, he knows. And I've got 2 friends that know, and that's it. My family have no idea, that it happened. Yeah, I'm just embarrassed. I really am. And people will say I'm a victim, but I got to be a survivor. I got to be a survivor.
Remember, if you get a warning on your computer or phone, don't call the number, don't click the link. If you have concerns, look up the number yourself and call the bank directly.
We get a lot of complaints from viewers who are fed up with their home warranty companies not backing up their promises for repairs. And one viewer finally got the help he needed, but only after On Your Side got involved.
Yeah, everything's working great. You can see the waterfall out of the spas going, and the pool looks really, really great.
John Glenn says he has 2 reasons to be happy. First, his pool is back to having crystal clear water for his family to swim in. But more importantly, John says thanks to On Your Side, he has this check for over $1,500.
So I really had to call in the big guns, and Gary made it happen.
In a previous On Your Side report, John explained how his swimming pool filter cracked and stopped working, causing his water to turn green. How bad was this?
It was really bad. It looked like the grass.
To replace the cracked filter, it was going to cost just over $1,500. So John submitted a claim to his warranty company called Choice Home Warranty to pay for those repairs. But Choice denied the claim, and as a result, John was forced to pay just over $1,500 out of his own pocket to install a new filter.
There's no crack, and it's working great now, so it's really cycling everything through the pool. The pool's starting to clear up and look a lot better.
But John remained a little irritated and thought Choice Home Warranty should have paid the claim. So On Your Side got involved, and I asked Choice Home Warranty to review the matter again. They did, and said although the filter was not covered under the policy, they did agree to reimburse John just over $1,500 as a gesture of goodwill to a valued customer.
This is really great, actually. For me, just knowing that the warranty company stepped up, it took a little prodding from Gary, and he made it happen. There's so many people who don't know where to go when they have a problem like this, and Gary and the team is there to help them out and really get results.
Some of the issues On Your Side covered this year went beyond money. These were questions of life or death. Viewers contacted On Your Side when they say their medical supply company failed to deliver the oxygen they needed to survive.
You want to go ahead and draw?
Cheyenne Sloan loves horses. She draws them, she paints them, and she used to ride, but she can't right now.
She had to quit doing horseback because she can't ride a horse with a oxygen tank.
Cheyenne is on oxygen 24/7. Her doctor placed an order for a portable oxygen concentrator, but Cheyenne's mom Stephanie says she's hit roadblocks trying to get it.
She doesn't always want mom around, and that's understandable. She's 12, and I would love to be able to let her go, but she can't handle a tank by herself.
But even getting those tanks has been a challenge. Recent orders through Preferred Home Care have been delayed, and they're often short several tanks.
We were down to our last 2 tanks, and I try not to be dramatic, but I do have to think about the what ifs. If there's a power outage, if we open a tank and it's not filled like we thought it was.
On Your Side has received similar complaints about the company. A 41-year-old mom of 5 told us her job's in jeopardy because she doesn't have the oxygen she needs. A daughter trying to get her mom help wrote to us when she hit the 1 hour and 49-minute mark of being on hold.
Please continue to hold.
Jennifer waits too.
Hey, I called you 28 times.
Documenting every call and every message she's left for Preferred Home Care, trying to get her husband's oxygen deliveries.
This is a health crisis. I mean, my husband needs oxygen, and they're not delivering.
She snapped this photo of empty oxygen tanks sitting outside her home, waiting to be picked up and traded in for full tanks.
Supposed to get 40 large e-tanks, so they're about this tall, a week. 1 week we got 16, 1 week we'll get 5, sometimes it just doesn't come at all. I'm not ordering party favors, he needs oxygen. It's just, it's so frustrating.
Preferred Home Care was acquired by Lincare several years ago. In February, Lincare agreed to a $25.5 million settlement with the Department of Justice over fraudulent billing claims. And last year, the DOJ settled another case for $29 million involving claims that Lincare overbilled Medicare for oxygen equipment.
All of the above.
Families like Cheyenne's are desperate for change because this company's their only choice through their insurance plan.
To see her not be able to have the same quality of life, it really bothers me. And over something as simply as standing on your word as a company, to follow through.
Go ahead and sit down. She has fought for every single breath she has taken. And being her mom is the best thing that I have ever gotten to do. And I will fight just as much as she has fought to get her the things that she needs. I don't think that fighting over life-sustaining things, medical equipment, should be a fight that I have to fight, but I will do it.
A Sun City woman faced a nightmare situation. On the same day her husband was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery, scammers stole more than $16,000 from her account. So she contacted On Your Side to get her money back.
I feel like I could just jump up and down right now. I'm just so happy, grateful, thankful.
Sandy Gerard says with the help of On Your Side, she has $16,000 back in her account.
I know for a fact this would have never happened had I not contacted you.
In a recent On Your Side report, this Sun City viewer explained how 2 life-changing events happened on the very same day, August 22nd. First, her husband was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery.
It's minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day right now.
And then later that afternoon, she discovered that a scammer somehow accessed her Navy Federal Credit Union account and made 2 fraudulent wire transfers totaling just over $16,000.
I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this is happening.
Sandy immediately contacted Navy Federal about the fraudulent transfers and thought there was a good chance she'd get the money back because the transfers were still pending. But to her disappointment, the money eventually went through anyway. Even after asking Navy Federal to investigate, Sandy says she was told their investigation could take up to 2 months or more, and there was no guarantee the money would even be returned. So she contacted On Your Side.
I was praying so hard that you would call me or send me an email, and you did.
I got a hold of Navy Federal and told them about how scammers stole money from Sandy's account on the same day her husband underwent life-saving surgery. At my request, not only did they expedite their investigation, but they returned the 2 fraudulent wire transfers totaling $16,000 back to Sandy in less than a week. Sandy says it never would have happened without On Your Side.
I've cried many a tear over this. I can't even express to you how happy I am. I didn't want to cry in front of you, but yeah, I'm so thankful.
One less thing to worry about,
oh
all right?
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Still ahead. On Your Side looks at an Arizona law that could be confusing motorists.
We'll show you why your next new car could be a whole lot safer.
And later, a story we've been working on for nearly 2 years comes to a joyful ending.
Tears flowed, and all I could do was hold my wife and my kids.
When the best of On Your Side continues.
This is the best of On Your Side for 2024, and this next story, it's close to your heart, Gary. Motorcycle riders splitting lanes on the freeways.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when I see it, and it seems to be happening all the time. And a new law in Arizona may have some riders really confused.
You're witnessing something called lane splitting. Motorcyclists weaving in between moving cars on a freeway in order to avoid rush hour traffic. Look how close they're getting to other vehicles. But lane splitting is not legal in Arizona, and needless to say, the practice is dangerous. While lane splitting is illegal, something called lane filtering was legalized in Arizona 2 years ago, and it's completely different. Lane filtering allows motorcyclists to slowly maneuver between cars that are completely stopped at a red light, allowing the motorcycle to get to the front of the line. The law is supposed to keep motorcyclists safer by keeping them from being rear-ended.
You're going to be sandwiched between those 2 vehicles, so it's actually safer for motorcyclists to be the front vehicle in that stack of traffic.
Maricopa County Deputy Sheriff Michael Redmond says some motorcyclists may be misinterpreting the law and assume that they can split lanes on the freeway as well.
I have seen it on my time off. I've gone down the freeway, and you see it here and there all throughout the Phoenix Metro Valley.
Check out this video. A Phoenix motorcyclist is so confident that lane splitting on the highway is legal that he uses the maneuver to squeeze past an Arizona DPS officer's truck. As you can see, that officer eventually catches up with the rider and gives him the news.
I believe the legislature in the state of Arizona did a very poor job of educating everybody as to what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Joe Brown is an attorney for Law Tigers, a firm that represents injured motorcyclists. He agrees that some motorcyclists are simply misinformed about Arizona's motorcycle law and are using it to split lanes on the highway.
Listen, this is not truly what the law was designed for, and people have taken it to the next level, thinking they're okay when they're truly not.
And that's frustrating for drivers who have been startled when an unexpected motorcyclist narrowly slips by them on the highway.
Why is this dangerous?
It's very dangerous because those cars may not see you as you're coming up next to them. You're a smaller object on the roadway. You're on a motorcycle. Someone might change lanes right into you, and they don't see you, and they run you over, and that could have a lot of problems for you and the other driver.
So remember, Arizona motorcyclists are allowed to slowly filter to the front of the line at a red light. But when it comes to the freeway, motorcyclists better think twice.
Now, the only place where lane splitting is legal is in California. If you're caught here, you could face a fine of a couple of $100s.
New technology might mean your next car is a lot safer. Automatic emergency braking will be standard on new cars starting in 2029. I got to look at how it works and why it matters.
This is Joe, a cardboard cutout who's helping us test out automatic emergency braking.
It's going to apply the brakes if you aren't able to reach them in time.
This safety feature already comes standard on several vehicles, including the Kia EV9 SUV. For this demonstration, James Cox from Courtesy Kia was driving about 20 miles per hour. As we're driving toward Joe, you can see James doesn't have his foot anywhere near the brake, but the vehicle still stops to avoid the obstacle in the road.
It's definitely going to apply its brakes pretty hard. You know, you might lean forward a little bit during that process of it applying the brakes.
In 5 years, the technology will be required in all new cars and light-duty trucks. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new rule means cars must be able to stop and avoid contact with the vehicle in front of them at up to 62 miles per hour. The systems also have to be able to detect pedestrians in daylight and darkness. And the systems will have to apply brakes automatically up to 90 miles per hour if a collision with a vehicle is imminent, and up to 45 miles per hour when a pedestrian is detected.
Absolutely great that NHTSA, more so than requiring this, standardizing it. You know, that NHTSA is going to make it very clear so that consumers understand how the technology works and that there's a consistency across all vehicle types, so that you know what you can or can't depend on the vehicle doing to help you out.
Carl Brower is an analyst for IC Cars. He says it should be relatively easy for car makers to meet the new standards.
The only thing that's tricky about this technology is that you never want it to false alarm. And I've experienced it myself. I've heard from plenty of other people who have too, where there's like a shadow being cast by a tree, and the shadow, for whatever reason at that time of day in that angle, sort of looks like a person on the road, and the car starts to go into panic mode thinking you're about to run into something.
NHTSA estimates the new requirements for automatic emergency braking will save at least 360 lives a year and prevent more than 24,000 injuries annually.
And this is going to work at lower speeds, high speeds. If you're inside of a parking lot and you're just driving around the parking lot, someone walks out or a vehicle pulls out from their space, you know, it's going to detect that if you don't detect it, and it's going to apply those brakes to keep you safe.
Just like it did for Joe. Still to come, we help a Valley family get their home back.
Anytime I see you guys, you're my friends now.
The end of a nearly 2-year investigation, with the best of On Your Side returns.
If you haven't listened to the On Your Side podcast yet, you are missing out. We have been going for 3 years strong with around 200 episodes already.
We have so much fun on this podcast, but we also tackle a lot of really important topics, everything from real estate to childcare and saving money.
We've cut the streaming services down to what we can, manage with, and we've cut, the grocery budget, and I clip coupons, all of the things to try to make it all work.
And even we learn a thing or two, like what are jorts?
You can set your jort alert to make sure you're not overpaying for jorts.
Oh boy!
Please don't show up at work wearing jorts, though.
Oh, you've got me going now. You've just double dared me.
And sometimes we get personal.
My oldest went out to a high school party.
Oh no!
In the desert.
Oh no!
Don't even want to know what was going on out there, but I do know when he came back, he had a big hole in the oil pan.
Oh! What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Oh, Journey. Find out.
You didn't have to think for a second.
No, I love Journey. So join us on the On Your Side podcast. It's easy to find. Just go to wherever you look for your favorite podcast, and you'll find On Your Side there.
Now a story the On Your Side team has been working on for nearly 2 years. A North Phoenix family lost their home in a fire and struggled cutting through red tape to rebuild.
The city insisted that the family had to connect to a new sewer line, but that posed a lot of problems, including a financial one. But with On Your Side's involvement, this family is now back in their home.
It's been a nightmare.
When Sean McElroy's home burned back in November of 2021, he had no idea of the uphill battle he would face with the city of Phoenix. First, city officials refused to give Sean the required permits to rebuild because of a discrepancy regarding the home's previous owner. Apparently, the old owner completed unauthorized changes in the backyard that Sean was being held responsible for. After On Your Side got involved, that issue was resolved, and Sean finally obtained the permits that he needed to rebuild. But the drama didn't stop coming from the city of Phoenix.
And then all of a sudden more hurdles with the septic or sewer system.
Yeah, the city of Phoenix then took exception with Sean's septic system that was put in when the home was built decades earlier. Get this, the city was now insisting that Sean would have to demolish the septic system and connect to the city's sewer system, located more than 500 feet away from his home. The cost would be around $100,000, and Sean would have to pay for that himself. Not only that, but engineers hired by Sean insisted there was no acceptable way to run a sewer line that long.
It wasn't good engineering practices. It was engineering for failures. And our civil engineer said, no, I'm not going to set you up to be responsible for a hazmat leak. Not going to do it.
Here's a sticking point. Not only has Sean and his family been on a septic system for 20 years, but so have all of his neighbors. But because the city of Phoenix deemed Sean's rebuilt home a new home, they claim that city codes require that he hook into the sewer system. In the meantime, the city actually deemed Sean's home uninhabitable, forcing him and his family to live in their RV. On Your Side got involved once again, but the city would not budge, saying, rules are rules. That left Sean and his family with one last hope.
The McElroy Sewer Tap Plan project.
On Your Side was there when Sean appealed the city's stubbornness to Phoenix's Development Advisory Board. It was his one and only chance to make his case to simply return to the septic system. But the city's water department inspectors dug in their heels.
The code is very clear. The code says you cannot have a private septic system.
Then it was Sean's turn to face the board and to explain what he felt was unreasonable demands that adversely affected his family's health.
This situation has been extremely stressful on my family. The stress got to my wife. The second Christmas we were out of the house and she had a heart attack, ended up in the hospital over Christmas. And it was a situation due to stress.
After nearly 2 hours of testimony and discussion, members of the appeal board finally weighed in.
First off, I want to just say how sorry I am for what your family has gone through. You know, I'm in the service industry and customer's always right. It doesn't seem like we've really put forth that here with the situation you guys had, and I want to apologize.
The final vote, 6-2, in favor of Sean and his family returning to septic, meaning they won't have to shell out $100,000 to connect to the city sewer after all.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Emotions boiling over, and then all of a sudden the yes vote, and everything just cleared, and tears flowed, and all I could do was hold my wife and my kids.
After 3 years of turmoil, 3 years of wondering, and 3 years of quarreling with the city of Phoenix, Sean and his family will finally be moving back into their home, and they credit On Your Side for being on their side the entire time.
Love seeing you guys there. This whole thing wouldn't have gotten even into the starting blocks without you guys helping us. So anytime I see you guys, you're my friends now.
That's the best of On Your Side for 2024. Thanks for watching. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem for On Your Side to tackle, you can reach out to us through the Arizonas Family website. Here's to a great 2025.